What is your avoidant ex thinking when you don't contact them? You've probably asked yourself this question more than once. There are moments when your mind just drifts back to them, when you wonder, do they even think about me? Do they ever miss me? Or has their life simply moved on? 1,000 thoughts run through your head, quiet questions with no answers, because when there's no contact between two people, it's not just the phone that stays still, it's the heart too. But have you ever noticed, when you think about someone deeply, somehow they appear in your thoughts again and again, as if your energy still connects? That's not just emotion, it's human psychology. When we think about someone, when we feel a void, our brain tries to fill it with imagination, memory and hope, and sometimes that same energy ripples through to the other person too. They begin to feel that pull without knowing why. Avoidant exes are no different. They act detached, but their mind reacts in quiet, hidden ways. Because when you go no contact, your absence doesn't vanish. It lingers. It becomes a mirror that forces them to face everything they tried to avoid. The emotions, the attachment, the loss of control. Even if they look calm, their thoughts begin to shift. No contact creates a strange tension, a mental tug-of-war between comfort and fear. They start questioning the very thing they thought they wanted: distance. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover today, what's really happening inside your avoidant ex's mind when you go no contact. So make sure you watch till the very end, because you're about to understand how their thoughts shift, twist and circle back toward you in ways you wouldn't expect. Don't miss a single point. Each one reveals something powerful about how avoidant people truly process connection. And before we dive in, hit that like button, subscribe for more insights like this, and tell me in the comments, what do you think your avoidant ex feels when you go no contact? Because your experience might help someone who's going through the same silence right now. They'll come back eventually when you go silent. The very first thought that crosses your avoidant ex mind is simple: they'll come back eventually. It's not arrogance, it's comfort. It's the story they tell themselves to keep control over a situation that suddenly feels uncertain. Avoidant people often rely on patterns, and if you've always been the one to reach out, to fix things or to chase, they convince themselves that this silence is temporary. They see it as just another round of distance before you fold again. In their mind, this thought is protection. It allows them to feel powerful, detached, unaffected. They whisper to themselves, they always come back. They need me more than I need them. But as the days stretch longer, your silence doesn't break. Something starts to shift, not loud, but noticeable. A quiet unease builds beneath that confidence. For the first time they begin to question their own narrative. What if this time they don't? And that's where your silence starts to hold power. The kind that doesn't chase, yet still changes everything. I didn't need them anyway. After the first wave of silence, your avoidant ex moves into self-protection mode. They start telling themselves, I didn't need them anyway. It's not that they don't care, it's that caring feels dangerous. To them, needing someone equals losing control. So instead of facing the discomfort of missing you, they replace it with denial. They might keep busy, appear confident, even laugh about it to friends, but inside this phrase becomes a shield, a way to distance themselves from vulnerability. Every time your name crosses their mind, they repeat it again: I'm fine, I never needed them. It's a small rebellion against the emotional pull they don't want to feel, but the truth is, they did need you, just not in a way they were ready to admit. You represented emotional safety, consistency, something they secretly relied on. So when that connection disappears, they pretend to feel strong, while quietly holding together the cracks your absence left behind. And as the silence stretches longer, that sentence, I didn't need them anyway, starts to sound less like confidence and more like a question. Why aren't they chasing me? After convincing themselves that you'll come back and pretending they don't need you, a quiet confusion begins to creep in. Your avoidant ex starts wondering, wait, why aren't they chasing me? They were sure this silence was temporary, that you'd eventually give in, like before, one message, one call, one sign that you still cared. But when none of that comes, their calm begins to crack. Avoidants thrive on emotional control. They feel safest when they can predict your reactions, when they know you'll reach out first. Your silence disrupts that pattern, and now, they're left with uncertainty. Something they secretly fear the most. They might scroll through your social media, hoping for a hint. They may even talk to mutual friends casually, pretending not to care. but inside the same question keeps looping in their mind. What changed? Why are they not reacting this time? For the first time they're not the one setting the tone, you are, and that shift of power feels unsettling. Because in the silence they once demanded, they suddenly realize they no longer control the game. Maybe they found someone else. As the silence grows longer, a new thought begins to surface. Maybe they found someone else. It's quiet at first, almost like a whisper they try to ignore, but over time it gets louder, because if you're not reaching out, then someone else must be holding your attention, right? Avoidant people often act detached, but deep down they fear being replaced, not because of love alone, but because it challenges their illusion of control. They start replaying memories, wondering if you were already drifting away before the silence began. Maybe they'll scroll through your profile searching for clues, a new like, a new face, anything that confirms their suspicion. Every small detail becomes evidence in their mind. They tell themselves they don't care, yet their heart races when your name appears anywhere. And while they may never admit it, that quiet jealousy exposes what they've been hiding all along. They did care, more than they wanted to believe. Because nothing unsettles an avoidant more than the thought that someone else now feels what they pushed away. I should look unbothered. After the waves of doubt, jealousy and curiosity, your avoidant X shifts gears. They tell themselves, I need to look unbothered. Image matters, especially to someone who fears emotional exposure. Avoidants don't just hide feelings, they perform calmness. They'll post something casual, maybe a story that screams confidence, smiling with friends, working late, looking busy, anything that says, see, I'm fine without you. But behind that calm exterior lies tension, because looking unbothered takes effort. Every photo, every caption, every silence they maintain, it's not freedom, it's defense. They think, if I look unaffected, maybe they'll regret losing me. But ironically, the more they try to prove they're fine, the more it shows they're not. They might even practice emotional control like a performance, no reaction, no visible weakness. Yet at night, when the show fades, the emptiness creeps back in. They realize that pretending not to care doesn't erase what's been felt, it only buries it deeper. And as they stare at that screen, scrolling through your absence, they wonder who they're really trying to convince, you or themselves. Did I push them too far? After the mask of indifference starts to crack, a new question begins to echo quietly in their mind. Did I push them too far? Avoidant people rarely admit regret out loud. They rationalize distance as necessary, telling themselves they needed space, time, or clarity. But when your silence doesn't break, that justification starts to lose its comfort. They begin replaying old moments, the arguments, the times they pulled away, the look in your eyes when you stopped trying, and slowly, it hits them. Maybe they went too far this time. It's not guilt in the traditional sense, it's realization that every time they withdrew, you quietly lost a little more faith in the connection. They might think about texting you, but hesitation stops them. What if they don't reply? What if it's really over? That thought lingers longer than they'd like to admit, because deep down they know you didn't disappear to punish them. You disappeared because you finally understood your worth. And now the silence they once demanded feels like the very thing that might keep them from ever reaching you again. Maybe I still love them. Eventually, after all the denial, control, and pretending, something unexpected surfaces. A thought they've avoided for so long. Maybe I still love them. It doesn't come with drama or grand gestures. It's quiet, almost painful in its simplicity. Because for someone avoidant, love has always been tied to fear. Fear of losing independence, fear of being vulnerable, fear of needing someone too much. But now, with distance and silence surrounding them, they realize love was never the problem. It was their resistance to feeling it. They might think about the little things, your laugh, the way you listened without judgment, how your presence made chaos feel calm, and in that moment it hits them. You weren't a threat to their freedom, you were the one place they could have been safe. But by the time this realization arrives, it often feels too late, because avoidants process love in hindsight, when it's gone, when silence replaces connection, when the memory of you speaks louder than your voice ever did. And in that quiet recognition, they finally face the truth they ran from all along. They never stopped caring, they just never knew how to show it. When everything is said and done, what matters most isn't what your avoidant ex thinks, it's what you begin to realize through their silence, because the truth is, no contact isn't a game, It's not revenge, it's not manipulation, it's a moment of clarity, a space where you finally see the difference between being wanted and being valued. Your avoidant ex may cycle through confusion, denial, pride, and even longing, but what truly transforms the situation is your decision not to chase what keeps breaking you. When you stop reacting, you stop feeding the old story, the pattern where love meant proving your worth. You create space for something far more powerful, self-respect. And sometimes that's exactly when everything shifts, not because they suddenly get it, but because you do. You understand that love isn't about being tested, it's about being trusted. And anyone who needs to test your value before choosing you isn't ready for the kind of love you're capable of giving. So whether your avoidant ex comes back or not, remember, your silence wasn't punishment, it was protection. It was your heart learning how to speak without words, and in that stillness you found your strength again. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to breathe and remind yourself, you are not the one who lost control, you are the one who took it back. Now tell me in the comments, what part of this journey spoke to you the most, and if you haven't yet, hit like, subscribe and stay tuned.